Real life science.
Real life science. All right. So I've got a couple things I want to shout out. The first thing, it's real life science and space TV, because we're incorporating that. We've been doing, talking about the Expanse or talking about Away, talking about whatever. In real life science, we talk about real life science and then cool shit on TV that you might want to check out. Right off the bat, we've got a Scott Manley video, Asteroid Eating Fungus and NASA's Other New Ideas for Space Exploration. This is a 21-minute video. Now, I know sometimes people see a 21-minute video and say, fuck that, I'm out. You got to click on this. Trust me. Scott Manley, first off, is amazing. He's wonderful. And this video is especially cool. The NAIC, which is the NASA Advanced Innovative Concepts Program, they published their next round of phase 1 studies. They do this from time to time. It's rare and it's awesome and it's amazing and you should look at it because it's cool as shit. These range from very practical, ready-to-build proposals to crazy advanced speculative science that is seeking phase 1 research authorization. I'm talking about shit like 1 centimeter size submarines that are set to, they're going to try to drop like, this guy's got a proposal where it's like, and this is not like, oh, it's Fred from down the street. This is like a legit, like, oh, I'm a PhD, blah, 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 and I work with JPL and I blah. These are like legit people. They have this plan of like dropping thousands of 1 centimeter, like dropping a probe that then disperses thousands of centimeter long submarines that explore the ocean under Europa's ice. There's one, it's in the whole moon of Europa is just one big water world that's underneath a shell of ice. Space elevator. Oh, Isaac Asimov. I love you. Yeah. Solar sails. Stuff like the New World Star Shade. Now, this is basically talking about launching a 2-piece thing. The one piece is a phenomenal special telescope, and the other piece is this blocker, this shade. You know how like if you're driving down the street and the sun is shining right in your face, you like put your hand up or you put that little visor down to like, I'm going to block out the sun so that I can see what I'm the road. They're talking about doing that with a 2-piece special satellite program that's going to like, okay, they're going to fly in this ridiculously tight formation with like, down to the meter control, like between the two of them formation so that the shade will act like your hand, like holding back or like blocking the sun, blocking a star, not our sun, but a star so that you can get a clear picture of the planet that you're trying to aim at far, far away. That shit is amazing. There's the RAM, which is the Regolith Adaptive Modification System, which is creating a new system to anchor shit in the dirt on other worlds so that you can lock down a landing pad for future manned flights. So like, okay, we shoot up this unmanned flight. It goes where it's supposed to go. And the whole process of this is it drops a payload that is this like landing pad. And the landing pad sort of drops on the dirt on an asteroid or a planet far away. And then it's talking about, we want to study the best way on other asteroids/planets to, whether it's some sort of a drill or a laser or some kind of a glue, some kind of a something that'll drop like pitons into a planet, into the dirt of or rock or ice or whatever of planet/asteroid/moon/whatever, anywhere in the solar system, and it locks it in place so that we can use it to anchor a perfectly flat landing pad that we can then send in the future, either sensitive equipment or, God willing, human beings, so that we can increase the chance that these guys that have the balls to hop in a tin can underneath a fucking rocket and launch themselves across the solar system can land safely and like live, survive. There's no amount of money that is like too much to spend for getting those guys safely there and back again. I've still got more to go on this subject, but I'm going to jump in. Roy, go ahead. Landing in the dirt. Go for it.
Oh, I was just saying, like, that's actually, if you watched the recent landing on Mars, with the famous footage now from the Sky Crane. One of the comments, I think it might have even been in the video, or one of the commentators was like, "It's you see how much dirt is blown out and up around that rover as you can't even see it when it's almost coming down. And now the thing flies away. Now you've got a rover with all these sensitive equipment and solar panels literally covered in dirt. And that's what this could fix. It's kind of a big deal.
Yep. There's a proposal for this using like different groups of fungus where you just launch it like a bullet at an asteroid somewhere. And then the fungus, like over a year or 2 or 10 or 20 or 100, I don't know. But like over a period of time, that fungus transforms the asteroid into usable farmland, so that later when you send people or whatever, you've got, oh, we're growing shit here, food and, fuel and something that makes air, raw materials that you could use to support the humans that are going there and or get them back. The Ablative Arc Mining. There is Ablative Arc Mining for in-situ resource utilization. Basically, they're shooting rocks with fucking lightning bolts of ablative energy to mine. So here's the thing. When you mine, like if we send people to the moon and say, oh, go mine this stuff, basically the process is you hit it with hammers and fucking drills and whatever, and you break off chunks. But then everybody who's ever mined in Elite Dangerous knows you need, what's that called? The thing that you have on your ship? No, the thing that you have on the ship that you convert you need a processor, refinery. Thank you. I'm way drunk. You need a refinery to process the raw materials and turn them into whatever. Well, if you use this process instead, this ablative arc mining, it takes a lot more energy. So you're going to need solar collectors and whatever. You're going to need some way to get over the energy, or nuclear. You're going to need some way to get over the energy hurdle. But once you do that, the idea is you take these two anodes and you shoot between them back and forth these like lightning bolts of energy, and you like sublimate the rock. You literally like melt it into a gas, and then you take that gas and you suck it up through like a vacuum into something spectrometer, and then you use the atomic weight of the materials and you divide them into different like little pockets, and you say, ooh, we need lead and iron and fucking cadmium, or we need uranium and this and that. And you separate the stuff into different pockets based on their atomic weight with a spectrometer or whatever. And then you ditch the inert materials. Oh my God, I wish I could do that in Star Citizen. You ditch the inert materials and you just keep the stuff that you want. So it's a way to like get around the in reality need to have a refinery. Because the way refineries work on Earth is you take chemicals and you push them through the raw product and you break down the pieces that you want. You're able to do that, in Texas on Earth. It's hard to do that in space. It requires a lot of chemicals and stuff to be in a closed loop, and you lose a lot of energy and whatever. But basically, this is some smart shit. There's the exploring Uranus through scatter. Scatter is sustained CubeSat activity through transmitted electromagnetic radiation. So basically what they're saying is we send one probe to Uranus. Go ahead and get your laughs and giggles out now, you fucking 12-year-olds. But Uranus is an ice giant or icy gas giant, whatever, that's way out there. It's so far out that it's hard, because the way we do some of the stuff in system, like the way we do stuff at Mars, is you send a probe and it drops like 5 other probes, and they all have solar collectors to get their power. That doesn't work in Uranus. It's too far away from the sun. You're going to collect absolute shit on energy coming back. So the idea is you create like maybe like a nuclear powered or something probe, the Big Daddy probe that goes to Uranus, and then it launches 5 or 6 sub probes, and it uses like, I don't know, lasers or something to shoot energy from the one to the other. So they don't all have to have solar collectors because it's too far out from the sun to work. They don't all have to have nuclear batteries because that takes too much mass. You have one powered thing that shoots energy out to sub-probes, and that through that you can scan and get information from a connected local network all the way out to the outer reaches of the galaxy at Uranus. There's a kilometer scale space structure from a single launch. Basically, this genius fucking dude from JPL or whatever came up with this process where you it's almost like origami. You launch a thing that's heavy and dense on a like a Saturn V rocket or one of like the Falcon 9 heavies or Falcon 10 heavy, once they get that working, that like expands out origami style. It like unfolds after it's deployed and becomes a much larger thing. There's like the PETALS program, which is PETAL stands for Passively Expanding Dipole Array for Lunar Sounding. Basically, imagine you drop a payload on the moon that's like the size of like a car, and it lands, and then after it lands, it deploys these 4 antennas out in the polar direction, so north, south, east, and west, that are basically like, imagine like it's a fruit roll-up, and it just sort of slowly expands these 4 antennas 200 meters out in 4 different directions, and they unroll to create a massive sounding instrument that takes measurements of the subsurface of the moon. Like they're scanning underneath the moon to see like, oh, here's the stuff that we want, whatever. Cool shit. The link is in the show notes. If you don't know Scott Manley, if you don't know, like the cool shit that's coming out through this NAICS, the NASA, what's it called again? The NASA Advanced Innovative Concepts Program, NAICS. This is shit that is taking science fiction. This is phase 1 research and turning it into awesome shit that's going to change and shape the future. This is fucking amazing. So go check out, it's 21 minutes long, but god damn it, it's going to be the best 21 minutes of your week. Go check that out. In addition, Bloomberg put out a quick take on Oumuamua, how Oumuamua changed the way we watch space. If you are like, I've heard of Oumuamua, it's a thing, I don't know what it is, whatever. Well, fucking pay attention, son. This is the first thing that we've actually been able to catalog, recognize, and track from beginning to end that is a visitor from outside of our solar system. This is something that came from far away. And the guy that is the head of astronomical studies for Harvard, I forget it, Avi Loeb, I think, he has put out a paper saying, and this is not a crackpot, this is not fucking Alex Jones, this is a legitimate, well-respected, top of the field scientist. This is like one of the top 20 guys in the world that you would ask, like, hey man, what's your opinion on this? He wrote a book that is basically like a sort of doctoral thesis level shit that is like, hey, I think Oumuamua is actually proof of alien intelligent life. I think Oumuamua is a leftover rocket or probe or something that came to us from outside of the galaxy, and solar system. And he gives really good reasons for why. You'll have to go and look into it. But basically, it's too thin. It doesn't outgas right. It's not it doesn't fit what an asteroid or a comet should be. It breaks the rules. And he's like, I think this could be sort of a leftover, like a rocket booster phase from an old spacecraft from some other intelligent life that just happens to be shooting through our specific solar system on its way to wherever the fuck it's like he legitimately gives a very good idea that he thinks it's space trash that came from elsewhere. And this is not a kook. This is the head of the Harvard, like this guy like legitimately has issued I've read out 3 or 4 papers in the last year that this guy was in charge of. He is a bigwig at NASA, at JPL, at all of these, like, this is a respected guy who's saying, yeah, I think this is proof of alien life, like for realsies. So check that out. That's the Bloomberg Quick Take, how Oumuamua changed the way we watch the galaxy. Holy shit. All right, I'm going to jump across. I just saw that we've got Wolfdragon had some stuff. So hop in on this. I think I passed your thing, but still hop in on it. I want your commentary.
I was just thinking about when the using fungus to turn asteroids into farmland. That reminded me of the bioreducing lichen commodity that we have in Elite Dangerous, which is, that's a interesting little throw there. The other thing on there that really piqued my interest and shot me off onto Google and Wikipedia real quick was the exploring Uranus through scatter using transmitted electromagnetic radiation for power. That reminded me of the Wardenclyffe Tower, also known as the Tesla Tower in Long Island.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody
Broadcast
remembers.
energy. I remember.
It was the idea of using the high power RF coming off of it, which, you know, if you have a small like desktop Tesla coil and you have any fluorescent tube light, like one of those sticks or one of the curly Q pigtail lamps that you could get for a while, they would just light up spontaneously because the energy going through the air was enough to excite the gas inside of the tube, and then that would fire off the phosphors and then it would glow. So that I thought was really cool, and I haven't looked at it recently, but there have been plans to turn that site into a museum honoring Tesla and all of his wacky brilliance and everything he did. Like the stuff we have for alternating current motors and things like the modern day, all the conveniences we have with being able to move things using electricity to create mechanical power, we wouldn't have them now, you know, unless somebody else had come across the same idea that Tesla did. So I thought that was super interesting that, you know, it's been quite a bit of time and somebody's looking into, well, maybe we could use that for this.
Yeah, because Edison and his boys were all backing direct current, and that shit was dog shit. Just for those who don't know, who are like, who is this Wolfdragon guy and what is he talking about, whatever. Just as a heads up, Wolfdragon is a legitimate engineer that worked for NASA. He now works for the United States government. I'm not going to say what or where, but he works directly for the government on a different project. But he was a engineer for NASA at a point. So just as a heads up. All right. So yeah, good stuff. The link is in the show notes.